Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect, and indeed a new update, new DLC and a new series. Today's beverage is a very nice green tea, very nice indeed. So welcome back to Prison Architect and the Future Tech Pack paid for DLC and accompanying free update known as the Slam, and also Episode 0. The Episode 0 premise is to go through the additions, the changes. I'll show you in game what the new stuff is and how it functions, and then we can also go on to what's going to happen in the upcoming series when it comes to the overall design and the planning, the building, the managing, and I guess eventually the ultimate destruction of the facility. A couple of things of note before we get into this one. Firstly, this is not a sponsored video, however I was supplied with a key and the options to play this early, so I have done so. So I just like to be upfront about these things. I think it just works for everybody. And secondly, this is the first video made on Generic Computational Machine version 3 after 7 years, actually over 7 years. I finally got around to getting a new rig, and well, feedback is very much requested on things like the sound volume, quality, UI settings, etc. So an interesting side quest that would really help me out, so just let us know on that one there. Either way, let's jump in and see what we can see in the patch notes. So over to the Future Tech Pack DLC. This is the paid for DLC. At the time of recording, it's not yet out, but it should be out now, and I have no idea what the pricing is. But either way, we've got a new set of uniforms. We have prisoner tracking, some wall types, keycarded doors, advanced searchlights, stun battens, and video calling booths, among other things. There's new clocks, art, and things like that. So that is the DLC. As for the free stuff, we have a visitor-only zone, staff break options, more gang segregation options, improvements in escape mode. We've added some new interactions, weapon balancing, and other small quality of life improvements on the PC escape mode. I've not yet tried it, so that's going to be interesting to see how that functions, and some other miscellaneous improvements. So more deployment schedule, time slots, refined object filters, and quick connect tool, etc. So we'll go back and check out the uniform pack, and obviously a lot of this we'll see when I load up a save and we can check it out in game. So the second uniform pack has arrived. To support the futuristic theme of your staff and prisoners will receive a sci-fi upgrade indeed. Prisoner tracking. Need help keeping your prisoners out of trouble? With the tracking monitor and menu along with other supporting items, you can now keep a better eye on your chosen prisoners. That is a fairly powerful tool. What is also powerful are, interestingly, the new wall types. The electric fence will stop any would-be climbers, whereas the glass wall will improve guard visibility and prisoners' sense of freedom, though it will also reduce their privacy. Yes, it does, but it also is very, very helpful in reducing any line of sight issues. We also now have keycarded doors, so doors that can only be accessed by guards equipped with keycards or prisoners with tracking belts, and you can also select different options for each door as well. We now have advanced searchlights, able to spot any misbehaviour, set off an alarm. Basically, it's a mix of searchlight and CCTV. It says advanced searchlights, it's a CCTV camera, but it also has a light on top of it. Stun battens, I think the 500 generic units of currency in-game to equip, but once they are equipped, well, they definitely suppress, shall we say, the prisoners easier. Basically, they act almost like a taser in some senses. And you've also got now video calling booths, allow prisoners to see their families without the dangers of physical visitation, and other decorative items as well. So what I'm going to do is go to create new prison, and we can see we now have a new uniform. This is future uniforms. Changes the uniforms of your staff and prisoners to be more futuristic in their design. Also, you can still change the colours, so that's still there as well. We have a new warden called Alexis Lin. Believes technology is the future, respected by colleagues, feared by inmates. We have a 60% slow suppression fade rate. Instigators do not increase the chance of nearby inmates causing trouble, and reduces misbehaviour frequency of extremely volatile prisoners by 50%. Basically, her entire thing is about keeping the lid on the prison, so making sure it doesn't boil over, making sure that nobody kicks off as much and that sort of thing. So a very, very good addition to the wardens there. We also have a new guard dog, or actually two guard dogs here. We have Subwoofer. This man-made wonder is faster and sees better than a normal dog. Shame it's not as durable. I don't know if I would describe Monarch or the Bowtie Bandit as durable. Cute, but not durable. And I don't know how a corgi is more durable than a metal than a metal dog, but well, we'll see how it goes. We also have another one called Bite as well, the latest trend in detection technology. Although it's weaker than other dogs, its keen senses make up for it. So, is this the... It says that one, like, that says surprisingly agile. I'm fairly confident, although this might not be true, that these dogs, they're all just standard dogs. They don't do anything different. However, these ones actually have a statistical change in them. So, yes, faster and sees better, but is not as durable. So we'll have to see how that works out in-game. Anyway, speaking of in-game, let's load up a save and I'll show you some of the new stuff. So we're in a previously completed island facility. This is before the expansion, and well, there's been a couple of retrofits. We can see we've got some new flooring in a couple of the areas. So the canteen and indeed the northern two cell blocks here have now got the hexagon flooring. Hexagons are the bestagons, and hexagons are definitely in. We also have in here the new triangular, I think it's called triangular flooring. Yes, triangular tiles. It's triangles within a square. Nice paradox there. So over to this cell block here, and we may be able to see immediately the advantage of these. So we have glass walls. Glass walls again in the walls and doors tree, and they are one of the two additions here. It's 100 per square, so I think that makes it the I think it's a tie for the most expensive. Perimeter wall is 200, but that's something a bit different. But for the standard stuff, you've got things like 90. We normally use concrete or brick, and they're 50 each, so it is quite an expensive thing to build. However, the advantages are it's still a wall, it looks really nice, and also this CCTV, we can see the cone, it's going around there, right? But this guy, the dog handler, is able to see straight through this. We've got line of sight through it, so it means that you can have patrols going around. We shouldn't have too many problems. I mean, just why? That's a lot of guards. Don't know why it sent them all there. But anyway, yes, we have line of sight. So even if you don't have CCTV, which we don't have at the moment, that's actually worked out, we can still see into this one. So it gives you a very nice line of sight. There are downsides. Firstly, it is 100 per square, but also, although it improves a classroom, canteen, gymnasium, and a common rooms grade, it decreases the cell and dormitory grade. So let's just check that out. We'll go for... room quality, yep, these have been reduced. So it does say surrounded by glass walls. So it does have its downsides. Not much. There's not many downsides. I think that's yeah, the advantages that affords is a worth the -1 in cell quality ratings. Is this guy? Yes, they have indeed been stopped, and that's a lot of guards. I mean, we might as well look at the new uniforms. So we got the guard. They've got like a sort of LED crystally type thing on their hat. We can't really see their uniforms, but they are different. The reason we can't see the uniforms is they're all wearing body armor, but they do have different uniforms. And in fact, the uniforms remind me, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they remind me of Demolition Man. Again, it could be a total misremembering on my part, and they may not look anything like that, but yeah, we do have new uniforms is the takeaway, as well as the prisoners. We can see their uniform it's pretty much the same but different. Oh, there is Arthur here, who is using the video calling booth. We can see they've got like just extra stripes on the uniform. We've also got, if we check out things like the doctor here, again, change in there. They've got like some little badges on. If we check out the cooks, these are an interesting choice. They've got red berets on. I do like the way they look. Although, is that supposed to... Oh, sorry, that's the strap of the backpack. I was going to say, is that the mustache, but it's put on sideways? Anyway, and there's also some people cleaning. There's the janitors there. So again, they've got like a headset on. Nice. Okay, so what else has been added? As I mentioned, the video calling booth is now in, so it basically caters for family needs, but also you can wire it up. So if we check out our logistics, new utilities, and then wiring, we can see that that is indeed wired up to the phone tap, which is fine. What's also wired up is the advanced searchlight. So the searchlight is, well, it acts exactly like a CCTV camera, but at night you've also got a big cone that lights up. So that's what it is. It's a mix between the searchlight and the CCTV. The clock's received a nice little change. We've got a Got a nice sort of blue sci-fi-ish clock there. We also have in here a key-carded door, which I've locked open, but I'll change that. So the key-carded door, if we check that out, over to walls and doors, and then you've got key-carded door or a key-carded door large. It says, guards with keycards or inmates wearing tracker belts, I'll get onto that in a moment, can pass through the door, although prisoner access can be revoked independently. So I can click on that and say revoke belt access. So at the moment, like that, only guards can go through and people with belts. If I do that, it means only guards. So this person here is having to basically stand around and wait for it to be open. That's why I've locked that open. And it mentioned tracking belts, and you may notice this symbol here. Tracking belts, it's convoluted getting them working, but once you've got them working, I think it's going to afford us some good advantages. We've got here the... what is this thing? Is it the tracker... Is that the tracker system? Tracking monitor, it is called. 1,000 generic units of currency, operated by a guard in a security room. You need a tracking monitor. You need a health monitor, which goes in the infirmary. You need boxes of these medical belts, which go there. And once you've got that as well as the staff, we now have options under the intelligence and tracking menu to see all of our inmates. So there's all of our inmates, and you can cycle through them. Oh, firstly, I can toggle on the tracking range, so I'll come back to that later, but basically, you've got routers, and you need to put them throughout the prison in order to have this thing function accurately. So that's all of our prisoners. However, you can cycle through and see which prisoners are tracked. You can see when we zoom in what they're tracked because they've got A, this symbol above the heads, and B, well, the tracking belt is fairly obvious. I thought it was going to be a little bracelet or something, but no, it's literally a massive belt that goes round the middle of the prisoner. Back over to intelligence here. So yeah, there's our tracked prisoners there. We can also go to prisoners who are at flight risk, who have recent misconduct, who have substance abuse issues, and who are suffering from a virus/illness. So if you wanted to say, right, these prisoners flight risk, you can click on them and send every single one to the infirmary to be equipped with a tracking belt. Once that's done, we can then keep an eye on the prisoners. Not just we've got this visual thing here, but also when they enter the range of these routers, it will ping. So if we come out, is that going to ping? No, it's because we're in the other menu. But we'll get pings as we're playing when they're coming in and out of the range there. So that's why you want, obviously, a router system around the place. You want to have them all tracked, or the prisoners who are, say, either flight risk or supermax prisoners perhaps, and there you go. So that's now pinged there. So you could, for example, have an area in this corner that's supermax only and put the router right in the middle, and if they leave that, you'll get pings. Basically, you'll get pings to say where they're going and what they're doing. So I think it can afford a lot of advantages, but only time will tell as to the long-term effects on that one. Severe weather detected. We've also got another wall, and this is the electrified fence. Think raptor fence from Jurassic Park. We have a very sci-fi-ish wall with electrical cable running around the top, which is very shocking indeed. It's again in walls and doors, and I think it's 275? 175, better. So, a high voltage deterrent, air quotes, requires cabling under each square. Yes, it does, and it was a nightmare to wire up. Actually, it wasn't a nightmare, it just took a long time. So we have basically this electric fence, and nobody has tried to escape over it yet. So the fun's going to be in finding out on how that actually functions there. We've mentioned about the new guard dogs, which we can see one there. I thought they were on like little tracks, but they've got sort of hover feet, and they're really quick. Yeah, and that's also called laser. So Shawshank, we have Shawshank, who is currently operating the guard dog of laser. I wonder if they've added loads of like sci-fi-ish names to a lot of the dogs. Let's go over here. Let's go to the kennel, and we've got Kenzie. Trying to find other dogs. There should be a patrol around here somewhere. Typical. Cool. So yeah, we've got it constantly pings there. I can see the pings getting a bit problematic if you have little gaps in your coverage. I think that's about everything. We've got new uniforms, yes. Prisoner tracking, more new wall types, keycarded doors, searchlights, yes. Or stun battens. So stun battens, you have to go to your reports and policy, then go right to the bottom, and you can equip stun battens. It's an extra 500 generic units of currency, and well, I wonder if there's going to be any misconduct that we can. Yes, that is indeed a chainsaw in the staff room. because where else would you store it? Yeah, we have. Do we have recent misconduct anywhere? No. But basically, the stun baton works. Oh, why has that been? I don't know why that's triggering there. Oh, they might have gone out of the range of this router here. But yeah, the stun baton is very effective at stopping prisoners from misbehaving. It does cost a bit, as I said, 500 generic units of currency, but once they have it, there was a fight in here, for example, they went up and hit them, and if you've seen what happens when they get hit by a taser, they sort of jump up and down a bit and shake around. That still happens, but it just happens for a lot longer, which is curious. We also have, as part of the freer stuff, freer? Is that a word? It is now. It is a word, just not used exactly correct. Neither was that sentence. Anyway, we have visitor only, which is something we can now select, and it says area prioritised by visitors and civilians, with only them and staff permitted to enter. So it is specifically visitors and staff. I thought it was just visitors, which, to be honest, if it was just visitors, it would be practically useless. But yes, having it as visitors and staff is good. So here, for example, we can do that. Oh, actually, we wouldn't want to do that because they wouldn't allow people in there. None of the inmates can go in there, but it means that the visitors can come in here, go through this one and around this one. This is staff only, which is only staff permitted to enter this sector. Whether or not visitors will still go through is, well, we shall see about that one. We also have visitor only zone, yes, staff breaks. You can choose how many staff can take breaks, specifically for guards, workers and cooks. Gang segregation I can't show you, and other options for scheduling time slots and such. So just a fairly decent list of quality of life improvements there, and I think that's about it. We've talked about the flooring and other items, etc. Yeah, I think that's fairly representative of what's been added with the DLC and the update. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what this can afford us. Naturally, we can build a sci-fi facility. I think it's fair to say that up until very recently, almost all of the DLC was focused on some sort of real life current prison theme or system. So, you know, you would have your clear for transfer, you would have your island prisons, things like that. This is, as far as I can recall, the first thing. Oh, there we go. There's the advanced searchlight, which will give you a tan. Yeah, this is the first one where it's been a deliberate and very self-aware. This is now where you can build a sci-fi facility, which I think is totally fine. I'd like to say it's totally self-aware. It knows what it is. It's, hey, do you want to make a sci-fi prison? Which there's many examples in different, films, games, media, whatever. So there's lots of that and the tropes around. So yeah, I think it's fair. You can take an example from, I don't know, say The Expanse, or is it Men in Black 3? There's loads of like sci-fi prisons that you could go. Right, that one. Was there one in Alien? Yeah, third Alien. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, I think we can build something with the sort of sci-fi look. So the plan would be maybe a lunar facility, high risk, supermax, maybe not gangs, but certainly supermax and legendary prisoners. Obviously equip them with tracking belts. Yeah, automation, segregation, doing a lot of remote stuff with door control systems and keycard access. Yeah, I think that's what we could go for. As it comes to the new stuff, mechanically, like the glass walls and the video calling booths and the keycards and this, and indeed the tracking belts, this is all part of the sci-fi DLC. I would go one further. I think there's a potential trick being missed here, because all of this, apart from its actual look, could be classed as just a high security pack. So it's been all rolled into one, the sort of sci-fi futurist aspect, as well as the mechanical just being more secure. I think it could have been just a high security pack, with the actual look of it being sci-fi being separate. But it doesn't really make much of a difference. We now have options to build a sci-fi prison, more stuff, more options, and well, in the next episode, we'll go ahead and plan off what we want to achieve and also discuss what we can do in terms of different prison types and option settings, etc. So hopefully you'll be following along the series for that one. Links in the description for the DLC and whatnot. As I said, this is not a sponsored video, but I was supplied with a key and the opportunity to try this early, to bring you this video. Again, just like to have full disclosure on all of that one. And, well, yeah, excited for what we can achieve in the future. And also, it's been dark for like pretty much the majority of this thing. Hope you have enjoyed this little look at the new DLC and update. Hopefully it's been of some interest and use to you, and where to find some of the things, because they are a little bit hidden in places, but you know, there you are, especially the security tracking menu in there. But we'll look at building on from here. As always, comments in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.